episode 1, the Colony podcast, introducing IBF, WBO, European champion, the COVID kid, Jazza Dickens.
Future world champion. Future world champion.
And future world champion.
Yeah, thanks
Welcome
for
to the show,
on.
Jazza. Nice to have you on first as well.
Thank you. Good to be on.
Good to be on. So we're going to go straight into it, Jazz, and we're going to talk about, obviously, the golden contract. You've just won. Talk us through it.
We're starting at the end.
Starting
Are we not
at the end.
starting today? Starting
Let's start at the end and we'll go backwards.
Cool. Yeah, it's been a year-long tournament, and for anyone who doesn't know, it's been a tournament given a great opportunity by MTK and Sky Sports to go on this tournament. It would be 8 fighters, 8 me and 7 other featherweight fighters. Everyone has a belt on the line going into the tournament, and we done a draw. It was an interesting concept because you put your hands in a bag and grab a ball out, and that's how the draw is being made. And you pick someone face to face before the ring entrance. You'd be standing face to face with them. It was a bit more of a TV show than a boxing fight. You know what I mean? It was a bit of it was good. I enjoyed it. You know. So been the last maybe 12 months being consumed by that. It was supposed to be a 10-month tournament, and then the pandemic struck, and then. It got extended, but in the meantime, I was in camp for it. So my last fight now, currently just gone, is it was like an 8-month camp really. Stop start for 8 months. Yeah,
because of the COVID situation.
Yeah.
And you actually got COVID as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Just before your fight.
Yeah, well that's why it was extended for so long, because the day before the fight, done an old training camp, training for which would have been 6 months. Yeah. For the last fight, and went up there. Felt great about to weigh-in. I was 2 hours before the weigh-in, and we had to stay in our bubble because of professional sports. Now we have to have a bubble, don't we? And we take the COVID test, we go to our room, we have the bubble, and we get the message the next morning, come out now, you're all right to come out. And my coach said to me and you've both got COVID, so we're off out the back door.
How's it work, Josh? So obviously leading up to the first time before you got told that you had COVID, obviously you've done your camp, you're really ready for the fight, and then you get told that you've got COVID, so obviously really disappointed for you and your team. But then how'd you go and motivate yourself again for the next camp, for the next fight?
Yeah, I haven't spoken about it. I was sick. I felt like I went because I was singly cheap. But like coming up to the fight, there was little signs and that. I was shitting me kicks and stuff like that. He was like shitting a lot, and which is always a good thing when you're making weight, because you've not only got nothing in your stomach because you're making weight. You can lose that gut content. You can lose 2 pounds just through gut content alone if you know what you're doing. So, but I'm still going the bog a lot, and there was other little signs in that, and I thought it was through making the weight, but I knew what I did know was I made the weight perfect, and I shouldn't be feeling that way, so I was still sick. And then coming home after it, that's when it hit me. So I came home and sitting there and watching the telly, and when you look through the channel. So I'm sitting there flicking through the channels, and the Sky Sports says Jazza Dickens versus Ryan Walsh, but I'm sitting on the couch watching that. Do you know what I mean? So it was a mad situation. And then 2 days after that, my bird who was with us, she caught the COVID. So she went to the hospital. She really got bad with it. I was alright, I was fit and healthy, but she's not as fit as me or healthy, and she went to the hospital. And so I've now got the kids, so I'm now jogging, giving the kids to me dad, starting to run, and then go to the gym and training twice a day still, because initially my manager said to me, stay on it, Jazz, because in 4 weeks time Alexander Uskar's going to fight Derek Chisora, and we could potentially be on that bill, which is four weeks away. So that was a massive opportunity. There was no time to feel sorry for myself. Do you know what I mean? It was a great opportunity. I'm looking at it as like, it's even better. He can worry about it, but it'll put me in a good position because I'm mentally strong, sort of thing. And that's how I've seen it. And so I played the rest of that week out, putting the kids in my dad's and going to the gym and all that, and still doing my thing. And then he said, no, it's going to be within, I think it was another 6 weeks' time. You're going to have your own bill in Wakefield. We're just going to repeat this what we were going to do last time, the Golden Contract final. But there was a light heavyweight tournaments happening at the same time, coinciding. So we said, instead of the lightweights and the featherweights, it's going to be the featherweights and the light heavyweight. So we'll do the same thing again. So get yourself back up for it for the 6 weeks, you know what I mean? So your question was, how did you deal with it? Just have to stay on it and know that there's no time to mess around, because it's my family who's going to suffer, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Did you have to alter anything in your training for the second camp?
Yeah, I think I have to cut back. So I seen it going into it was the man who, it's not the man now who can get the fittest, the man who's smart enough to not burn out of his, you know, who can burn himself out, because they talk about training smarter, don't they? That's saying, they say on the internet, it's not about saying how to train smarter. I had to find out what that meant, because I didn't want to overtrain. I've done all this work, been training for so long. Now I just didn't want to go over it because I got nerves and you get anxiety. A lot of fighters don't talk about this. There's the stuff that goes on in the background. So you're sitting in your hotel room before a fight. You know you're going for a fight. So imagine you're sitting in class. It's half 2, you've arranged this date and after school. Do you know what I mean? You're not thinking about your work, are you? You're thinking about, so what? How do you act now? Do you start like throwing rubbers, or do you know what I mean? Do you start messing up? Do you get yourself sent out the class because you're too scared and you don't want to go through this whole process and you don't want to face it properly? And so you're sitting there with yourself. So you're sitting there. How do you deal with it? And a lot of fighters don't talk about this stuff. Do you know what I mean? Because they're scared. But everyone gets scared. Everyone gets fearful. So in that situation, I try and soak it up. Where was I going with that before?
It was about changing how you altered your camp for the second time.
Yeah, so trying to deal with all that stuff, do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I dealt with it really well. I just seen it as it was me and him in the same situation, do you know what I mean? So he's going to have to deal with it better than me, and I felt like I was smart enough, and I've been around the game long enough to know it works. And when the pressure was on for both of us, I stayed cool and boxed nice. When it was the pressure's on there, you're expected to go to war. Everyone said this fight's going to be nothing but a scrap. These fighters only know to go to war.
I was going to ask you that, because everyone thought it was going to be a scrap.
Yeah, it surprised a lot of people.
Everyone thought it was going to be a 10-round war.
Yeah, for one, people didn't even think I could box. Never mind.
Yeah,
putting it out there when the pressure's on. That was my thing before. The pressure I had on me. Just being calm with it and just understanding everyone gets this pressure and it's okay to feel this on this big occasion.
Yeah, because the both of us are sort of being in a similar sort of track along the line, haven't you?
Yeah.
But I think you dealt with it a lot better than him, didn't you?
Obviously, only by the outcome, but can't take nothing away
to me,
from
watching it looked like you were a different class apart.
Yeah, going into it, it was very similar, maybe.
Yeah.
Even my uncle said, you didn't even look like him, man. Very, look at your noses. Even jokes are going around. Like, I wonder if you're their family and stuff. I wonder if you're the Fort Walsh with it. Yeah, well,
James Jazza Walsh.
I've got nothing but positivity to say about him, as TJ Diamonds and your family, you know.
Yeah, they are a nice family. I've met them myself, but you had a job to do, and you went out there and you done that job, didn't you?
Yeah, as they say, it's better you than them. You know,
of course, yeah.
But it is also sad. I did have a lot of not guilt out because it's a fight, yeah. But you think, bloody hell, I know what his bird's going through now. Because I've gone home after fights, and I know what it's like for my kids and my bird to see you facing public disgrace. You know what I mean? Yeah. That's how you feel. You feel like a loser, and you know you can be on the social media and the Twitter and all that's brutal sinner. So you know what people are saying about you, and you're watching it and you're reading it out loud, and it hurts. You know what I mean? It's painful, and his family you're gonna have to go through that. So, him being such a nice fella, you feel them feelings. Well, I do. You know what I mean? It just stopped me from fighting. I love to fight, but you still feel that.
So, going back now to the fight before, it was completely
this
different.
This is going to be a long process, this, hasn't it?
It really is, mate. Fights. It really is. I'm gonna go to the next fight, only because I feel you learned something about yourself that night, and I also feel like you faced a bit of adversity. Yeah. You got a black eye, and I think it was in the first 30 seconds of the first round. Yeah. Talk us through that fight.
The Leeward fight. I got bit off already, didn't I?
I
think at one point it was 6-1. And
I seen 8-1.
8-1.
8-1, yeah.
So we at one point we were he had us a bit off, didn't he?
Yeah.
And but I knew, because I boxed Leewards before. I boxed them as an amateur in the ABAs, the semi-finals of the ABAs years ago, and I knew I had him because one day we were both on the Great Britain team, and we were fighting each other in the ABAs, but we were both on the Great Britain squad. Yeah. And we were in the gym. I don't know if you recall this, but I do. This is why I knew I had his number, because the bell went for the end of the round, and no one in the room seen this, just me and him, and he walked away from his bag to get a drink, and I walked over onto his bag, and the bell went again, and I stood in his bag, and it was like, do you want your bag? Are you going to say something or not? You're going to swallow it now, or are you going to say something? And he swallowed it. So I knew 10 years later, I still got your number. That was my mentality going into it. I knew that, do you know what I mean? That's why I got under the skin and wound him up. It was only like kidology and like, you know, the mental warfare that he used in that, but no one's seen that, do you know what I mean? But I knew I had his number through that situation, and I went on to beat him in the ABAs as well, so that going into that fight, I knew I was going to win, but everyone had me ripped off, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I knew in that position, and I'd had 3 losses, and it went to final, and you weren't coming out with a silver medal, you were coming out with fuck all, if that makes sense, in the golden contact tournament, and there was a lot of pressure on me. I mean, we were sitting in a coffee shop the morning of the fight, and we were just talking about how I felt, and I was nervous, not nervous as in who I was facing, more nervous, and I know what the consequences are to lose you, and it's probably game over.
Because he was the Sky fighter as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And he was the poster one. He was on the poster outside, and he was on the Sky channel.
Yeah, and if you notice the poster on the MTK tournament, the more and more as the tournament goes on, I'm getting closer to the middle on the posters, you know.
I've seen that, yeah.
It starts as an outsider, and then there's the winner. But, going into the fight, I knew that there was a lot on the line, there was a lot of pressure that went with him. When I went back to the hotel after it, as you do, all these belts, we was counting up, me and Katie the other day, it's like, seems to me 8 times we come back with the belt, every night to come back and put the belt on here, and it's happened 8 times now. It's a lovely thing that we love to do, just me and her, everything we work for, and coming back, it was like no other feeling before. Winning the British title weren't the same, we weren't even defending the British title weren't the same, but the relief of like, our future, it's a little bit closer now, you know what I mean? Everything that we're working for, it was just pure relief, do you know what I mean? It was nice, it was really nice.
Brilliant, because you're working towards that goal to become obviously world champion, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I'm a separate.
I smell it now.
Yeah, I'm separating myself from my family and and the kids, and they're sacrificing too, you know what I mean? Just that relief when I knocked on the hotel door and she opened the door and she's standing there and it's looking, she's already known I've won because she's been looking at the social media and stuff like that. I don't like her being at the fights, but them little moments, they're my moments, and they're what we live for, do you know what I mean? People love to watch it on the telly or whatever, yeah, fucking you do well, but they're my little moments, that moment that you get. It's only a split second, but it's like you give months and months of sacrifice for that one split second. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not like no one there, Dad, you're going to have to get off, because this is our moment, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People, some like, in the past, people will be, I'll walk up to them, no, you won't, see you later, this is my selfish moment now between me and my partner, do you know what I mean? What we've worked for. So
brilliant,
so yeah, I always take a fight with me because I don't want to wait now to get home to have that moment. You know what I mean?
It's already nice. There. It's brilliant that. In the 9th round of that fight, I personally think the referee should have stopped it. What do you think about that? Because he pulled you apart when you were basically on top of him, wasn't you?
Yeah,
and it was a big bonus as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
For the knockout, I think, was it $5,000 or something?
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
I think he's done a good job, man, because he come back and he stung me in the tent.
Yeah.
So, if he stopped it there and then, no one would have complained. But I think he done an even better job than he got the credit for. He actually got abuse for it. Yeah. Didn't he live on Sky? The referee should have stopped that. That was wrong with the referee. Yeah, you can't sit on the ropes and stuff like that, and you're not allowed to break the play while that's working like that. Someone's working on another fighter. But in hindsight, he made the right call. He let him go on. He let him see the end, the final bell. And sometimes the referee's job's not just about pleasing; it's about helping fighters through. You know what I mean? He saved Lee Wood's kid. Lee Wood never got stopped. He's going into his next fight. He's not lacking confidence now. And people don't see this about the referees. It's a tough job, and it's a really tough job because he's now saved Lee Woods from public shame, and I might have him to say, no, I'm going to swerve it now. I've just been stopped. He got him through, and he finished strong, and the referee done a great job on Lee Woods' future too. Do you know what I mean? That's sometimes a job for the referee. I've done it myself, and like shows now, like the white collar shows.
Yeah.
And you so sometimes you watch in a fight, he's a fucking pain in the ass, that referee. Why does he keep doing that? Do you know what I mean? I always think of Joe Cortez and that was on this day, wasn't it? That was on this day, maybe. But I guess that was political and he was on Mayweather's side, but if there's two people and it's not everything's on the line, you're trying to save a fighter, do you know what I mean? So you're stepping in, or like you give one a telling off because you want to save time and stuff like that, just to get them through, do you know what I mean? There's a lot to it to the referee. Sometimes I've been in the middle of referees and they've pushed me up, you watch it now, you get on it when you watch it. The referee always has obviously the referee's going to have a favour, he's a human being.
Yeah.
And if he's got a good relationship with this fighter, he'll get in the middle when both fighters are tired. You get in the middle and you separate them, but you'll see he'll push one fighter away. So he's using his feet to come back. Yeah. He's burning his energy, but he's not pushing this fighter away. And I've had it done to me before, referees, and I've thought, you sneaky fucker. Do you know what I mean? You obviously like him, you're not pushing him off, but my legs are fucking gassed. So it's like you see it in the future now that there's many 6 that they've got, but there's also 6 of saving fighters and things that do a great job at.
So what's it been like after winning this tournament then? What's been the reaction since?
Me, and I always feel like in the past I've always clammed up when I get this much attention. You feel like it's only normal to feel like the backgrounds I come from, and it's normal to feel like you're not weird. This, you feel like a fraud sometimes. Who these people speaking to? It's not me. The messages you're giving me, I don't feel that way about myself. So I'm getting a bit like insecure, or what are these people after? Why are you sending me nice messages? A lot of things like that. So in the past I've never questioned it. I've just done what makes me feel comfortable, and what makes me feel comfortable in that situation is nice one, everyone, I'm going to get off, and I shut my social media down and I go back to my safety comfort zone. But fear of success has stopped me from doing that in the past, you know what I mean? This time I'm recognising it. No, you're going to have to get used to it to be a world champion, so therefore I've got to go through it. And it's heavy, really heavy, do you know what I mean? Heavy. People you don't know, it goes from 1 minute, thanks, but then there's fucking hidden agendas. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And then there's like, do us a favour, post this for me, or like, look at me bird salon, do us a favour, Jazz. Fucking ignore me messing about today about posting someone's bird salon, and you think I'm already endorsed by people who've helped me for all these years, and now I've got to fucking put them on the back burner for all these people who don't know, and you get distorted with the people who matter with the people who don't. Do you know what I mean? Like,
I'll just get rid of that salon question there next week.
We've been looking forward to this podcast for a while, haven't we? We've been setting it up, but you can get it distorted with the other 10 who were saying to me today, can we go to the podcast? Yeah. You get distorted, and you fucking getting really angry, to be honest, because I don't know what to deal with it, but I know I've got to go through it, so I'm just trying to get used to it, really. So
the matter of just like sort of switching off to all that.
It sounds petty talking about the bird salon, but it's thousands, literally thousands of messages, and I feel like I owe people. I feel I owe everyone an explanation from, or thank you, or you know what I mean. I don't know why I'm like that, but I have to work on that. Maybe just find a way to say thank you, and that's that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just a thank you to everyone.
Yeah, I message people back at 4 AM in the morning because there's not going to be a reply. So the other night it took me 2 hours to message back every single one person at 4 in the morning. Yeah. By 5:30, you might have been like 100 replies, and then I think, oh fuck, now there's no under conversations, you know what I mean? Now it's a conversation starter, do you know what I mean? I'm just being honest, this is how people feel. I might sound like a bit of a rebellion by saying this, or but that they're the feelings that go, I come on with it, do you know what I mean?
It's going to be hard for everyone, isn't it, to have 100 conversations on Instagram or Twitter or whatever you're on.
Thousands.
And the further you get to reaching your goal and becoming world champion, you know, more people are going to be coming towards you, aren't they? It was about recognising that and understand you need time for yourself.
Yeah, and you can also get distorted that. What I'm saying now, it comes across very negative, but the truth is how much I love it and how much I'm grateful. So you can get that distorted too, you know what I mean? I have to keep telling myself, fucking hell, Jazz, you messing? It's amazing. You're going on about it, you're moaning about it.
There's a fine line though, isn't it?
Yeah. Maybe
because you sacrifice so much as well, I think to your family want to see you as soon as you get back after your fight. You haven't seen them for X amount of weeks, months sometimes. So that's a part of it as well, isn't it? You want to get back to that normalisation.
Yeah, you've seen that, didn't you? Like my little girls. I've been away from my family for 6 months out of the 8, and I only live 5 minutes away, so you've probably seen them like a month out of the last 8, really. You know what I mean? It takes its toll on you, and and me little girl, and you see her, what time are you back? Where are you going? she's like a possessive woman. Where are you going? What are you doing, Jazz? Just look at me phone, babe. And so it's like, I'm trying to get back to that, but as well, I'm trying to work for my family, and Christmas is around the corner, and you know, Christmas, everyone's 50 doesn't know, gives a fuck, they don't want to work, so I know that we'll have that time, but yeah, I'm just trying to find a way, to be honest. That's, the answer to the question is I don't know what the fuck's going on, I'm trying to find a way.
Professionally, have you got any idea what's next? I know it's only been a week or so, but professionally.
Yeah, I've had conversations with my manager, and he's saying like the plan that, but in boxing, until it's set, until it's signed, it's point high in the sky, so it's just like waiting for confirmation on a world title fight, really. As these are both 2 European title fights, and today we find out that we're in this governing body, we're ranked number 1 behind the challenger, and in this one number 3 behind the champion. I'm number 1 challenger for that, number 2 challenger for that, so I can fight for these both organisations, as well as my manager. He's an ambassador for the WBC, so also we'll be going up in the rankings there, so we're just open, you know, to get a world title fight. You know.
And is it 3 different fighters? You've got them 3 different belts?
Yeah, no one's got more than 1 belt in the featherweight division. No.
So if you could pick one person out of them, who would you pick? I'm putting you on the spot.
I haven't watched anyone. I haven't watched. No, Wallington. Oh yeah, they have Wallington. Josh Wallington. He's the only person I know. I know him personally through sparring throughout the years. So yeah, I've had many interviews about calling Josh Wallington out, but now I'm in a genuine position to say, fight me. Do you know what I mean? But I understand he's got a fight coming up, and why would Josh Wellington want to fight me when he can fight someone else to unify his belts? Do you know what I mean? I get that, but who am I supposed to? At the position I'm in, I respect Wellington and his dad. I know them personally, but that's my job now. I'm in to win a world title, so
yeah,
fuck him.
Everyone is in the way.
Fuck them all.
So, do you know anything about the Mexican who holds this belt?
No, we know he's Mexican.
I don't know
he's Mexican apparently.
I think he's Mexican. I think he's about 25 as well.
Is he Navarrete?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, I can't pronounce his name. That's why I called him the Mexican. But I have watched a little bit of footage, only briefly the last couple of days, and he looks alright.
I don't watch them.
He's no Jazza Dickens, but he looks alright.
I don't watch them because it's just pointless. I never watch my opponents. I don't see why I should, you know what I mean?
That's for us to do though, isn't it? That's for your coaches to do.
Sometimes I'm only selling tickets before a fight. People come to the house and that, and they want the tickets. You know, like people who come all the time from the start, so they still come to the house with the tickets. So they're in the box office, but we've always worked that way, so people come to the house with tickets, they say, have you seen this fella, he's fucking tasty, you know, he's gonna get hit a few times in his fight, and you think, what the hell, he wants to come out, do you know what I mean?
As he said, yeah.
I'll pay for some tickets if you go and give me a bit of grief.
Yeah, I'll come with the Mexican shirt on and that.
So, you haven't always been with Derry and Georgie.
No.
But, since you've been with them, you haven't lost a fight. What impact have they had on your career?
Bloody hell, and it's massive. I feel like I've learned to, no disrespect to where I was at, but it's evident in it, but the way my career's gone, I've learned to box nice, and I've learned to do, I learned to be myself. I learned to do what I learned to do as an amateur. I was under Kevin Smith, I used to just box. I'm just boxing nice, like it's been so many years since my skills have been showcased like that. They've been in small spells, but never put together. In the last few fights, it's starting to come together. Do you know what I mean? I didn't understand what a jab was years ago. Once you trying to take someone's head off with a big swing and all that, and the more power you put into it, the better. But now I understand that it's about setting the shots up and jabbing. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's something that weren't really. Maybe I was taught it, but maybe I didn't listen. But maybe I wasn't taught it. Who knows? But right now, I'm in a good position. I'm learning. I mean, 10 years into a pro career, I'm learning. I feel young again. I was taught these things, or I don't know if I was incapable of learning these things. I don't know if I was receptive to learning. But with Georgie Vaughan and Derry, Derry being a fighter, fighting for a world title, WBO world champion, British champion, Commonwealth champion, I've said before, I had this poster on my bedroom wall when I was growing up. So looking at these people, it's great. You know what I mean? It's amazing, really, to be around these people. Yeah, so I just don't know if I was receptive enough to learn these things, or was I learning these things. But what I do know is with Georgie Vaughan is that it's a pleasure to learn off him, to listen to him, to work with him, and Derry as well. Derry also trained under Georgie. He won a WBO world title, so, and also being around Bellew as well. It's he's WBC world champion. He is who he is. He's inspirational too. Also, not many people know there's another member in the camp. We have MTK, and we also have Carl Evans from John Moores University, sports scientist. He's helped me massively, and I've been with Carl from the start since I've been with Georgie and Derry. He used to help me make 8 stone 10. Got to a comfortable position, and we were doing the DEXA scan. We were getting on a machine. It was telling us you've got this much body fat. You can lose it, but you're also going to have to lose a little bit of muscle as well, and you're going to have to diet for like 10 weeks rather than 6 to 8. And everything's going to have to go perfect. You get an injury, you have 2 weeks off. That fat's not going to come off. You're not going to lose the weight. Do you know what I mean? So everything's got to go perfect every single time. Or you can afford to play with the extra 4 pounds and put a bit of weight on and feel stronger and not have to diet so much. And not diet, you still eat healthy, but not going to have to kill yourself so much. You know what I mean? With that's the weight cuts and all that. So Carl Evans, he's helped me out massively. He's got a PhD in sports science. So yeah, the whole team is perfect, really. And we train in the youth club where the building was the youth club where I used to go as a little child, you know what I mean, in the area where I grew up on top of my school. So everything's just come full circle from having to go to Miami to get an opportunity a few years ago, and being in our gym now. It's just great every day. I don't even say I'm going to the gym, I just say I'm going to the club. Yeah.
I think being so close to home probably helps you, doesn't it?
Yeah, massively.
As in, like, you don't like going here, there and everywhere. You like being a home sort of person, don't you?
Well, I live 5 minutes one way from the gym, and then my dad lives 2 minutes the other way, so I have my camp base where I go to stay with my dad's in the last 6 to 8 weeks. This time I went like the last 2 months, but 4 to 6 weeks I'll go to my dad's and I'll cut off then. I just only see my kids weekends, so I've got everything around me. I'm so lucky, really. Not everyone's got that.
So would you say your dad was part of your camp as well?
Massively. It's not only part of my camp, it's like I learned to fight with him in the living room. That's where I see it. During the night when we fight him, he came in the changing room. He weren't allowed to come in, but he got him in as Scousers get anywhere, don't we? So he got in the changing room, and I just settled right away because he was with me. Do you know what I mean? I learned to fight in the living room with him. So when I'm fighting, people see it as these big occasions. I just see it as I'm in the living room with my half. Once when I was a little kid, me and my half went to his mate's house. I was 5 and we used to do press-ups every single night, even at that age, and he said, show Noni that you can do 50 press-ups. So I was doing 50 press-ups, and Noni clapped me when I got up. I remember hitting the floor after 48, 49, 50, and I hit the floor, and then I heard his mate rewarding me, clapping me, and that was the first time what me and my dad had been working on indoors, which you could say the gym. We went out into another venue, as you could say, in an arena now, and we got rewarded for it, that reward system for working hard. So I've always worked on, I get my rewards when I succeed by working hard. That all, like, it all ties in. And my dad's right there with me, supporting me, telling me one more. So my dad being there is massive.
Always pushing you to make you feel comfortable.
I wonder what it'd be like if he wasn't there, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So he's another member of your camp, really, then, isn't he? Yeah, always being there for you. Massively.
I'm my man. I mean, I'm my girlfriend, I'm my kids. It's not like people see the fight on the telly.
It's more like a squad.
Do you see the fight on the telly, don't you? And you say, look at him winning, but it's not true. It's far from true. On these belts here, this is my team. On both. I'm going to show you that.
It's okay.
Smashed your table. Georgie Vaughan, Carl Evans, Tony Bellew, Terry Matthews, on both of them. That's the truth. It's all of our belt, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's amazing, that.
Yeah. Well, I'll shoot a sign as well.
I'll sign it at the end.
But that we all won that together. That's why you have them on there, do you know what I mean? So, yeah. For all of us.
Brilliant. So, I'm going to go back even further now.
To the causes.
not to the quarters now. We're leaving Amos out of it. Even though he was the IVF. Now, what we're going to do now is we're going to go back to the start. What made you go to the gym? The boxing gym?
As you say, I was in the house with my alpha. My alpha used to teach me how to box and box and wrestle every night. And just like sort of 1 too many fights in school and stuff like that. And Joseph, remember Joseph, Joey used to take Joseph to the gym. He was going for like 5 years to the Solly. And at this point, he'd been going from the age of 7, I think about 7 to 12, and you can't fight. I think at that time it was like 12, you can fight when you're 12. Yeah. So I had a fight after school one day. My dad was the caretaker in the school. Funny enough, he got like a part-time job. I'll tell you a funny story. So one day I'm sitting there at the dinner table, my dad walks past, and says, "Hey lad, you're alright to me?" As he's just the caretaker and making me dinner. Like that. I don't think I ever said hi, Dad, because I wasn't on for this lad to reply, and the lad went, "Who the fuck's that nonce?" So one day after school, we arranged the fight, and I forgot about this fight. I was saying before, no, when you arrange a fight at school, I forgot about it. I think we arranged the fight in class 3 or something. So I'm walking towards the school gates, and there's loads of kids there waiting. I knew there was a fight, and I'm thinking, I said, who's having a fight here? And he went, "You kiss your jacket." So they're having a fight, but at the same time, my dad's walked home from we had 3 fights on the way home, and 3 separate fights, and my dad's walked home and caught the 3rd one, the last one, and didn't want to fight in front of me alpha because I knew the situation where there's like, it was his jaw on the line as well. Yeah. As well as any other questions we just didn't need at the time. On top of that, he probably had warrants. So it's like so we didn't want to fight, but in the end, I won the 2 fights, and the kid was still like, "Golden, me wants to take one." So it's okay then, fair enough. So we had the fight and finished the fight. Done well, and my mates like were rewarding me, you know what I mean, wearing jazz, and and that was another one of them things, another going outside with my dad, him being there, and we've had everything just goes back to fighting in venues. That's how I feel, do you know what I mean? So there's another venue. That was another venue for me. It was only on the Ola in St. Joey's where we was, but that was another venue where my dad was next to me, and I won again, do you know what I mean? So it was like building me up to this point, and he said, "Go to the gym." "Why didn't you go to the gym, lad?" And I said, "Alright, I will." Yeah, so I went to the gym. Joey started Joey, my uncle, Big Joey took me to the gym with Joseph. And at this point, he'd been on for 5 years, and I was now 12. So I caught the wave, really, because these are all getting ready to fight within a few months, because they're coming of age now, and they've been getting school for all the years of the coaches. So I went to the gym, and the first night, there was a picture of John Conte on the wall, I'll never forget it. We always tell this story. He's with the WBC belts, and said, "I'm going to be world champion like him. I'm going to be the next scouser towards that WBC." Yeah. Bellew has been Count Smith's got a WBC belt. But that was my thoughts at the time. I remember looking around the gym. The smell of the gym was boss. And the next night we went back. That must have been on a Monday. We went back on a Wednesday, and I sparred, and I done well. I held my own with another kid who'd been there for the 5 years. And I held my own that night, you know what I mean? I thought, "I'm doing alright, yeah, I can take to this," you know what I mean? And the terminology the coach was using, just didn't understand it. You say, the coach telling me throw a feint, and I didn't know what a feint was, you know what I mean? Because I also knew is that I could fight, I could box, and then it had been, I think it'd been 2 weeks, something like that, and I was going to get my medical. So 2 weeks in, I still don't know no terminology, nothing about boxing. I've never watched boxing in my life. And then within 4 weeks, I'm having my first fight on the same night as our Joseph. So we've been going for 5 weeks, and I've come in a month later, I'm having my first fight fighting together, do you know what I mean? Still didn't know nothing about it. So in my mind, I went for the street fight, straightener. That's how I had to approach it, because the only experience I had to fighting was going for the street fight. Do you know what I mean? So that's how I had to see it. That's how I had to see my first fight, and it was a good night. Remember just enjoying it. The bell went, I was nervous, and the bell went, it was in Old Park's ballroom. Ballroom, yeah. Just over the bridge. Fight. Yeah, me and Joseph had our first fight, and I lost, and I looked out the ring after with a smile on my face to my mum and my Aunt Linda. My mum Linda was in the crowd, and I just looked to say that was amazing, and I weren't disheartened by it. All I knew is I'm going to do this again. This is me setting out. That was amazing. And as I looked around, I could see Alan's face shouting, "Oh God!" I never forget it. I was just turned back and thought, "No, it doesn't matter. It was amazing. I'm going to win now." Do you know what I mean? That was it. And it went from there. Just snowballed fast.
So what you mentioned about nerves before that fight then, do you feel like the more fights that you have now, you get into a bigger stage, do you feel like you still get the same type of nerves, or do you become more used to them?
Every fight's different. There's a point out, I fought a guy called Tommy Ward after the world title fight. I'd had 6 months out with a broken jaw, and I hadn't had a warm-up fight or nothing, but I still held the British title and defended against Tommy Ward. That fight, I was dead inside. My career slowed down massively. I knew I weren't truly happy at the gym I was at, and going out, it was just there was no nerves. Do you know what I mean? I got in the ring, come out to me ring music, got in the ring, looked around, there was a fight in the crowd, so I'm in the ring watching a fight in the crowd. That's how relaxed and lack of nerves I had. I'm watching a fight out in the crowd thinking, fucking hell, look at them fighting there. That's how relaxed I was, and I realised that's not a good thing. People used to say, anyone who says they haven't got no nerves is talking shite, because it's true in most cases, but in that fight I didn't have no nerves, and I didn't box well. I lost that fight. I always look back and think it was a fight that I shouldn't have lost, and the lad done well. He's taking no credit away from him, but yeah, that the one fight I didn't have nerves, but every other fight, some fights you get a lot more nervous. Like the last fight, I was nervous, and the fight before that I was nervous because there was so much on the line. Yeah. But some fights you just know you're gonna win. There's gonna be no. You fight a journeyman, you know you're gonna. It's like you expect to win. You expect him to lie down. Sometimes you fight a journeyman, you think, "Shit, couldn't you just hit me back?" Do you know what I mean? That's what it's like. So a lot of fighters get complacent and they get knocked out by journeymen because they just. Journeyman wants to win, you know what I mean? Journeyman's had a bad week. They'll tell each other fucking argument with his wife, he doesn't give a fuck, and he says, "No, I want to win tonight." And some cocky kids just thinks he's going to lie down and roll over, but you know what I mean? Them journeymen, though, they are amazing. I've got some stories about fighting them, and they are amazing, though. They've also got a job at the referee to bring the fighter on. Do you know what I mean?
So I watched the programme about I think it was called The Journeyman, a couple of months back. And they earn a good wage. Yeah. And they live a good life doing it. So I don't think without them, the likes of yourself and, as you say, other fighters like Callum Smith from the pool or any boxers around the world wouldn't be able to really get to a stage where you're at right now.
No, definitely not. But in America, they're journeymen. They don't get journeymen. They get people who can't fight. Shit fighters. They box. So what you see, their records are brilliant. They've got loads of knockouts on the record. Because they're fighting people who are shite. They're not fighting experienced journeymen. It's different over there. But these journeymen, I remember going to my second or third fight. My mate was fighting Delroy Spencer. Delroy Spencer's had hundreds of fights as a journeyman. It's a flyweight. And we're getting out of our coach's car. We're young kids. And Delroy's getting out of an X5. I'm like, what the fuck's going on here? Do you know what I mean? And he's a journeyman. We didn't understand him. He had the brains. We never. Do you know what I mean?
Wow.
So he had the skill to survive. It's an art. Yeah. Because they're surviving. They've got great defence. How do you have hundreds of fights? But I've only had 33 and I'm slobbering. He's feeling like fucking having hundreds of fights and people are trying to really weigh them in every time. And they still got the faculties and all that.
Yeah, it's a skill, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were saying that on that show, like.
Some journeymen have actually turned it around with the skills that they've learned on the road, and then he turns around and said, "No, I'm going to have a go with this," and then he's done well.
I suppose they got all the skills too, though, haven't they?
Yeah, but then they don't make no money, so they go back to what they know. It's a livelihood, isn't it? You see, sometimes when you go back in the changing rooms, like the journeymen, I've seen journeymen remember going back into a changing room, one of the journeymen who just lost, he's putting a suit on, someone said, "Where are you going?" He said, "I'm going to work." You know what I mean? That's
so he's actually going to work after that fight.
I'm a doorman, I'm going to work. Don't tell my wife, just an extra few quid, he said. Just going to make an extra few quid. I'll just say someone hit me and they're like, look what they said. Some stories, though, they're amazing.
Extra chain on the doors.
That's what he said. I just come tell her I got it tonight with a bottle or something. I was thinking it was something like that.
So as you say, you started off, you went to, what gym was it when you started off, sorry?
As a professional?
No, as a As an amateur when you very first?
As an amateur, I started the Solly, and then after a year or two in, I went to the Golden Gloves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you went into the ABAs. You actually won an ABA title, didn't you?
Yeah, I won 5 junior ABA, 5 titles, 4 titles as a junior, and the European Games, bronze medal, Commonwealth Games for the Golden Gloves, and then for my last fight as an amateur, I went to the Solly with my coach on the Golden Gloves, who was Kevin Smith and Joe Harper.
Yeah.
And after all them years, Joe Harper gave us a boxing, he was like 75 or something like that. I won his first ABA title, so it was nice to give back. Yeah. I feel the same thing when I think I'd love to give Georgie a world title, and that's like, so that was a proud moment. And then I turned professional with the Everton Red Triangle.
So just before you turned professional, he was talking about you going to the Olympics, wasn't he? Yeah. And I think did you do a documentary?
Yeah,
well, going to the Olympics?
Yeah, well, I was on the Great Britain team for a few years, the development team. I think it was about 16 to 18. I was on the Great Britain team, but I was never a team player, and I was just always like a recluse, you know what I mean? I didn't like people and didn't like being... Yeah, to be honest, Dan, I wanted to train so hard, I wanted to be serious, but there was a lot of people who have found themselves there. I gave my whole life to get there. Like, I used to sell my Xbox to get there, do you know what I mean? I used to go to the cashies, I used to go to cash converters. When you first get in the Great Britain team, they give a trial, so they see what kids want. They give you the expenses to get there, but if you haven't got the expenses to get there, you can't get there. So I remember going with my Xbox as a young 17-year-old, the Xbox, everything in it, going to cash converters to get money, to get me ticket, to get to the Great Britain team. This is when you're just on trial, and I ended up getting on the team and that. But there's a lot of kids who are from a privileged background or whatever. I'm not saying I weren't, but I'm saying there's kids who aren't and just found themselves there. You know, they don't want to be there, and like, remember one lad watching doing press-ups, and he's like, us, and the coach turns away, and he just lies on the floor, and he's going, us, you know what I mean? He'd found ways out to cheat, he'd been probably made to go to the gym by his parents or what, but I wanted to be there, I really wanted to be there, and it was disheartening when other people get looked over, couldn't handle it, you know what I mean? Couldn't handle being number 2, and that was the facts. I was number 2 on the Great Britain team, so... Yeah.
So making that decision then to not go to stick to in the GB squad, to go to the Olympics potentially and things, and then turning over pro.
Yeah.
How was it making that decision? Was it a tough decision for you to make?
What happened is women's boxing came in, and I was fighting at 54 kilogram. I just won the ABAs at 54, and he took the 54 kilogram out, and he put 52 kilogram and 56 kilogram. So I was caught between them both. I couldn't move up because there was another lad who'd already been in the Olympics there. Couldn't move down because I couldn't make the weight. And it was just natural for me to turn pro because I always wanted to be pro as well, do you know what I mean? And I dramatised the documentary because I not words put into my mouth, but it was like it was made around the Olympics. Do you know what I mean? This documentary was made around going to the Olympic Games, so it was like, it looks like that was my goal, but I always wanted to be a professional, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So yeah, I was happy to turn professional. I always seen them with no top on fighting, and I thought, fucking, I want to do that. As a little kid used to watch the videos and all that.
Did you watch that Olympics?
I couldn't say it
No.
did. I don't know. No, I was really resentful when I left. Yeah, I was bitter.
Do you know who ended up going in your weight category? What fighter it was, or?
Well, from the last time I had an amateur fight was the ABA finals. There was no 54 kilogram weight category. Yeah. It was 56 or 52.
Oh, right,
Khaled Yappa went at 52, at 56 kilogram. When Joe Murray, you think he'd done one before? 56. Martin Ward, maybe, possibly. There was Martin Ward, Ian Weaver. He was a top fighter. Martin Ward, he's European champion. I was a professional. 57 kilogram. Luke Campbell. Yeah, 56 kilogram. Yeah.
So Luke Campbell.
As you say, I'm 18 years old. I'm number 2 behind him. So. I think so. I think it was him. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So you decided to go pro. You went to the Everton Red Triangle.
Yep. And
you fought at the Olympia. Your first fight.
Yep.
On Derry Matthews's
undercard. Yeah.
What's that like?
For me, it was amazing. It was like I've told the story many times before, but I love telling it because when it came out, I picked my music and all that, what's it going to be, and I chose Soul's Beal. When I was a little kid, my alpha had 2 CDs, remember the big computers that big? Yeah. Now we have them in our phone, don't we? But the computer was that big, my auntie gave it to my alpha, He was in the back room, and he was Tracy Chapman, Peter Gabriel, and Sting and the Police. And I used to go in the back room and you ball as a kid and listen to this. I like Salisbury Hill, and I chose that as my ringbook. It was going to be that old Shaka Khan feel for you. At one point, I thought so, and Z cars. Was he that or Z cars? So, I stuck with Salisbury Hill, and coming out in the Olympia, it was rammed in there because Derry used to sell a lot of tickets, and coming out in there and seeing the way it's the arch,
like a cove, isn't it?
You're on the stage looking out and it's rammed like that and the ring's just there. It was just fucking unbelievable. I'll never forget it. I thought this is like this is what I've been waiting for. So I'm trying to like soak it all up, you know what I mean? And I started like bouncing, just waiting, thinking, do what the pros do. And my coach fucking poked me in the back and said, "Hurry up!" I just got mashed into the ring. And went out there and you get close to your opponent. And what happens is you'll be fighting in 10-ounce gloves, which you've got this much padding on. And now you're fighting in 8-ounce gloves, which you've got this much padding on. Yeah. And as an amateur, you had a guard which is this thick on your head, and now you've got no head guard. So the distance, take away the sponge off the glove and the guard, now the distance is this much out.
Yeah. So
you're trying to find your distance and it's not there because the 6 inches away from you. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to either step in a little bit more or bring them on a little bit more. So it's a bit confusing to try and gather this. Coming from the backgrounds, I was the amateur background. It's probably the worst fucking amateur background. When you think about leaning towards the professionals, 4 2-minute rounds. Yeah. With their guards and big stupid gloves, so it weren't the best for people who are going to turn professional. I think that's why they have it like that, so they don't have to lose their amateur top lads to the pros. So it was at finding the distance, and I felt the first shot. I got buzzed off the first shot. Not buzzed, but like stung. And I thought, you cunt, you know what I mean? And it was like fight or flight, you know what I mean? And it was like, it's on now. And I remember fighting back, and after the first combination, after the first flurry, He let me know I don't want as much as you. He just let me know. He must have been a journeyman or whatever. And that was my mentality. I my fuck stepping back. You know what I mean? No way. Yeah. And, it was nice, and went back to the changing room. After it, I remember getting out, some fella saying, "That was one of the best debuts I've ever seen." I thought, fucking hell, someone saying that to me. These compliments right away, you're not used to it, you know what I mean? Bloody hell, I've been waiting to hear things like this for years, and now I'm here. It was like boss moment, getting in the changing room. And Stephen Vaughan came in and went, "Yeah, lads, here's your packet." And it was an envelope, a brown envelope, and I remember thinking, it's knowing you can think a lot faster than you can speak, can't you? Yeah. So loads of thoughts go to your head, and thoughts, what is it? What's he giving me a brown envelope? What is it? And I grabbed it and went, "What is it? Your wages?" And I'm fucking hell, yeah, I get paid now. Do you know what I mean? Get paid, yeah. It was something like £700 maybe, or something like that. You know what I mean? It wasn't much, but fucking hell, I'm getting paid now. I remember looking at my coaches thinking, "Oh yeah, I'm getting paid now."
And was they thinking, "Give us some, because you're always..."
Yeah, 10%, you probably got about 14 quid.
And then you're like, "That, give us a lift home."
Yeah, well, that's I think, did they give you a lift home? Paul Stevenson, we had great years with Paul Stevenson. It was great times. And Mick Stevenson's brother. Did he give me? Probably did. And I went for the jog.
I went for the jog. Which you always used to do, didn't you? After every fight.
For the run. I just thought my work's not done. I'm going for the run. You know what I mean?
So in that gym, you had some good lads in there as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I think Kev Satch. Was he was ahead of you, wasn't he? He was already a British champ, wasn't he?
Kevin Satch, we all started at the same time. Him and Ryan Farragher had their first fight on the same night, a month before they had mine. Yeah. Kev had his second fight on that night in the Olympia.
Yeah. And you won your first professional title with them as well, didn't you?
Well, Kev showed me and Ryan how to do it.
Oh, right.
Do you know what I mean? Because he was a flyweight, there weren't many people in his weight. He come up to the point where he's fighting for titles a lot sooner than us.
Yeah.
And he just showed us how to do it. Because me, Ryan, and Kev, we were all amateurs. And Paul and Mick, they were also amateurs. They don't know nothing about pros. They never gone anything past 3 rounds themselves. So they're asking for people's advice. They're just playing it by ear sort of thing. So Kevin had his first title fight. I think it was a British title. Who was it against? Paul Edwards. Don't know if that was his first title fight, maybe. Don't know, but he showed me in Farag how it's done. Farag went on to win a European EBU title, and I won the British at one point. Kev had the British, Commonwealth and European titles. Kevin retired undefeated. Don't know many people, Scousers, who've ever had the British, Commonwealth and European title. Derry said that was his dream come true, to have them belts, and he never done that. British, Commonwealth, European title, and he retired undefeated. At one point, me, Kev and Ryan, we did a picture when we all turned pro. Three of us, hungry kids, just young kids, with no belts. And then there was another picture, I think Kev had a European, I had a British, and Ryan as a European. You know what I mean? It was something amazing.
Brilliant, that, isn't it?
It was boss. We were in the same position, and it just happened organic. We never said, right, let's get that picture. Not like they do on Instagram now. How was it going there? So I was going now. So we do it. This is where we'll be taking on the goals there. And fucking flash come there.
Have to wait for it to get printed out.
So here's your box picture. Look, come back. One of my favourite pictures there.
Brilliant. Do you still have any contact with any of them, or?
We don't have contact. I've never lost the connection. But we don't speak every now and again on social media or whatever.
One of them mates that you see every blue moon, and as soon as you see each other, you start laughing.
It's just friends that I have for life, and I respect them. And I've seen how much they sacrifice with me too. You know what I mean? Yeah. They were together. I boxed Kevin in the ABAs that year before we turned pro. So when I joined the gym, it was like fucking. I had to fight my way in there, do you know what I mean? Because it was me, Kevin. So Kevin was going to move down a weight. I was going to box at 55 kilograms super bantamweight. Farag was going to do 57, but he dropped to bantamweight. And Kevin dropped down. So we were all on the same weight. So I had to fight my way in the gym. I remember the first day I went in there, and Farag and Satchel both looking over at me and saying like, what's he doing here? He's been fighting him a few weeks ago, he's the enemy. And he sort of had to fight me way in every day. The sparring got a bit heavy. And Paul Stevenson stopped us one day and said, lads, you can't keep sparring like this, you know, because it's getting bad. You just knocking fuck out of each other every day. You know what I mean? Probably building resentments to what you there. And then, but we pushed each other so much, we got over that. And we all settled at different weights. And we all knew where we were going, and we just had fucking great years, really, really good years. We travelled up and down the country, sparring, we supported each other, we all went to each other's fight, every fight, and then other fighters came in the gym then, so we had a knock-on effect, we were all doing well, other fighters came. There was Mark Moran, he was a brilliant fighter, he was great sparring. Mark, he was at the end of his career when he came. Courtney Fry came, who else was there, Stephen Lewis. So
John Gillies there at one
Gillies
stage
came,
as well,
Gillies had a few fights with us. Him Courtney was just fucking mad house, it was. It was proper mad house every day. We'd go there and have a cup of tea an hour before we trained. Don't know why we used to do that. Don't know why we used to have to be there an hour early to have a cup of tea before we trained, but they were the rules, so we just fucking said because we were like kids when we joined, you know what I mean? It was stupid, it was like, oh fucking hell, I'm in bed, I'm thinking I have to get up to go and have a cup of tea in the gym. Do you know what I mean? They were just the rules, like I used to just abide by them because I was like a kid. And amateur boxers abide by the rules, whatever the coach says happens, you know what I mean? And we were turning professional with amateur coaches, so we just abided by the rules, you know what I mean? You don't realise you've got to have your own brain as a professional and you need your own business. And you don't realise that at the time, so you do whatever these people say. Maybe you give them too much on your career. I done that a lot. I should have opened my mouth, but I was too young to do it, you know what I mean? If I could start my career again, and I was with Paul and Mick, I had to say, look, I'm going to take control of my own career because the mistakes that I make, I can own them. But if you make mistakes on my behalf, you burn a bridge on my behalf, I'll have resentment. You know what I mean?
So is that something that's crossed over from when you've left Everton Triangle and then come over to Derry's gym? You've learned that all through that process? Well,
at the time, I'd say I'm professional at 19, and now I think I was there for 6 years, I'm 25 now. Do you know what I mean? I've got a little bit older and I've come to the end where I feel like I need to speak up for myself. Do you know what I mean? It was hard to go and have the conversation. I'm going to leave. I was fucking love these people. Do you know what I mean? That's what it was like for me. You with someone every day for 6 years, more time than you've spent with people you really genuinely do love as a family member in your whole lifetime. You know what I mean? So it's like leaving that gym was hard for me, really hard for me. But I had to leave there to you know, business reasons and my career and my
goals as well.
And my goal wouldn't have happened if it didn't. But I always wish I had two careers. One to spew the way it was going, and one to revive. You know what I mean? And do what I'd never forget what I've done. But I always wish I had two, and I could see my days out there because of the love I have for the people. Do you know what I mean?
So
So first go on the gym that day, then to speak to Derry, to basically say, will you be my new trainer, be my new coach? How did that feel?
Yeah, well, it didn't happen like that. So leaving there, I had these big ideas because as a young kid, you always think, what's it like in America, don't you? Like, you see on the telly, you grow up watching Rocky. Watch Rocky. Rocky one was on at 1:30 last night, yeah. Watched it and then went to the gym at 6 a.m. Fucking hell. So anyway, you have this ideas of like what America's going to be like, and so as soon as I left there, I left and I said, I'm going to... He said, well, if you're leaving me, where are you going to go? And this is the conversation with Paul Stevenson. I said, I don't know. All I know is that I have to leave. I'm not happy, so therefore I'm not going to go behind your back and set up and move and then go. I'm going to do what I think is the honourable thing and leave first, and then that will fall into place. I feel like I'm good enough to go anywhere. Like I feel like I can learn anything I want to learn. So I want to be honest with you and leave this relationship now and then go and find something new. So that's what I've done. I went to America, went to Miami, and I spent 2 weeks in Miami. I don't know if Hurricane Irma, I think it was. Remember the Hurricane Irma? I was stuck there while the Hurricane Irma was there. I was thinking, fucking hell, it's me to call here and get fucking killed. But I had nowhere to stay because I was staying in a hostel on South Beach, and apparently it was going to come right up South Beach. And the fellowship my dad's in, he met a fella from a world convention who has a place in just outside upper Miami, and he let me stay in his place whilst he went to Vegas. He fucked off to Vegas. He said, don't worry, it's going to be safe. And I'm looking, I'm thinking, well, why are you getting off? So I stayed there in his place. So I lost a week of that there, and I went down to First State Gym and met a fella called, first of all, fucking hell, I landed there, and there's a place in Miami called Hollywood. And you think Hollywood, but this place is fucking the ghetto, do you know what I mean? It's like, I arrived in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. That's where I arrived, yeah. And they called motels, aren't they? Yeah. So I arrived at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and the motel that I booked, they said, no, there's no place here. So I'm walking, my fucking first night there was like walking down GTA with me fucking big backpack, you know what I mean? I'm the only white man there, still, I was so dumb. And I ended up getting into some weird motel, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, this is mad, this. So I messaged the coach, Jorge Rubio, who was a Cuban coach. Why I went there, because he was similar with the Cuban style of boxing that Kevin Smith was like when I was an amateur. Kevin Smith used to teach us like the Cuban southpaw style and all that, so I liked that about him, only this fellow's a professional. So I went there the next day. It didn't work out, so I was getting shouted at because I couldn't do what he's telling me. Well, vamos, come on. So the hurricane happened, and then I went down to somebody, put me in touch with Chito Perez and Dino Spencer from the Fifth Street Gym. Yeah. So I went down there, went in the gym there, sparred with the Cuban, the most decorated amateur Cuban. And got some good sparring there, but it was time to come home, do you know what I mean? Yeah. So it was time to come home. Derry said to me, come down to the gym, Jazz, come down to the gym, and this is like the old youth club, you live over the road, don't be training on your own, come in the gym. At the time, David Price was there, JJ Metcalf was there, Craig Glover was there, Sam Maxwell was there. Yeah. They had some fucking gym. Joe McNally was training a lads there at the time, but they all went to the Sunday. Joe was still their coach. Who else? There was just some team there, some squad, and I was fighting for the business title. I had a business title fight coming up against Tommy Ward. I think it was a rematch. Yeah. And I was training for it. And I said to Derry, do you want to train me there for this fight? You and George? He said, yeah. And so that's how it began. Do you know what I mean? It was never what I've got now. I don't think it was ever planned or intended, because I was going to stay there. It was over the road from my house. Do you know what I mean? I went to America first, and they say you have to go away to come home. And the business title fight fell through. And we fought anyway on an MTK show. And then we fought again on a Black Flash show. Just journeyman, you know, you were there, and after that, there was just no opportunities. I was supposed to fight for the business title again, and I weren't generating no hype, and so I had 3 losses, and I weren't generating no hype, and career was on its ass, wasn't it? And my half his mate, Tommy, they were going through the World Convention, NA World Convention in Miami, and in Orlando. And the mate, Tommy Burns, saved my career. So he said to me, I fell off this, I can't go because of work, Jazz. Do you want my ticket? And you can go to the thingy with your dad, and you can go and train, or get some sparring, or whatever.
Yeah.
I thought, no, what, there's nothing happening here. I had to speak to Derry and George. He said, there's nothing happening. We know there's nothing happening. There's no title fights here. So I went there. So Tommy's ticket was available for me to take. There was no opportunities happening. So I went to Orlando with them while I went to the convention, and I went down to Miami and got some sparring in the first aid gym. And he said to me, Jazz, we'd like you to box here. Do you want to box here? Instantly. I had to take that opportunity. I came home and said to George and Derry, George, Derry, this is an opportunity. I can fight in Miami. They've already got a sponsor lined up and everything for me to fight, to pay for me to fight out there and to live out there. And it's going to be hard. I don't want to go, obviously, because I do want to go because it's amazing. I'm going to the same gym where Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard trained. But I don't want to leave Georgie, Derry, my 3 kids and my bears and my mum and my dad and my family and my loved ones and all that. I don't want to leave all that, everything I know. It's a big risk, innit? So, so I went back out there to fight. So what has happened at the time, there was no fight happening, and I hadn't been wise myself with financial situation. So I had nothing. When I got to America, I got so Dino paid for he got the sponsors to pay for me to get on a plane to Miami, so he was just stop midway. No, the cheaper flights where you have a stopover, so you stop in Portugal halfway. So I get to Portugal, waiting for me flight. I've got at this point I think it's like 40 pounds I had in my pocket. 40 pounds just going on trust, praying to God what's going to happen will be. I will trust you, and I've got to go and provide for my family. I have 40 pounds going to America with 40 pounds in your pocket with no backup money or nothing. It's a scary thing when you look back, innit? You got 40 pounds, you wouldn't even go to Manchester with 40 pounds in your pocket, would you? Never mind going living in Miami, you know what I mean? So I just said, I know God will feed me. There's never been a day where I have a net in my life. I'm still alive. I'm just going to go and trust in God. So we get to Portugal. Was it Portugal? Yeah. In the airport in Portugal. So I'm about to board for my second flight. And the woman says, oh no, you can't get in this flight. You can't, because you've only got a one-way ticket. I was going to America on a one-way ticket because I didn't know when the fight date was going to be. It wasn't set, so I just wanted to get the fight and then come back. But I didn't know you have to have when you go out in America, you have to have a place of residence. You have to let them know where you're staying, because you could just be an immigrant, an illegal immigrant. So I just had a one-way ticket with nowhere to live. That's how I went out there. So the woman said, I said, what? I've bought my ticket and now I'm on my way to America. I'm in Portugal. I haven't got no money to get back to England. Never mind, I have to keep going. And she went, oh, you can come to Portugal, you just can't go to America. So I'm sitting in the Portugal airport, looking, my phone charged on the wall with nothing. I'm thinking, how am I even going to fucking live in this airport? I haven't got money to get a flight home, and I haven't really got money to eat in this airport, do you know what I mean? So it's just trusting God, trusting the Lord. And so I messaged Tino, and he said, we've managed to get you next month's sponsorship for this month to get your flight. So I carried on with the journey, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Went out there, just lived out there, like in hostels and in the ghetto with the fight house with the ad. Great out, so I sound very ungrateful talking about this like this, and in the ghetto, blah blah blah. But Chiro Perez and Dino Spencer, they put me up, do you know what I mean? They looked after me big time. Chiro was buying me my food, and it was nice. And this Boris, his name was. He was a doctor. He'd seen me sparring in the gym, and he said, I'd like to help him. I seen him fight Rugondo, and I'd love to help him. Boris, I don't even know Boris' second name, and he was the man who was funding it, you know what I mean? And whoever Boris is, I hope he'd see this one day, you know what I mean? I just never even got a chance to say. Didn't get his phone number. He used to have a few quid, and he was going to first aid gym. It was a project to him, do you know what I mean? So thank you to Boris.
Thank you to Boris, definitely, yeah.
It weren't this Boris who we know.
Hopefully not anyway. Yeah. Doesn't sound like him.
Yeah, it was lucky there, really lucky and blessed, and they looked after me and they give me a second wind in my career. I got loads of good sparring out there. I thought every day. I came up with this fucking saying in my head: if you're not earning, you better be learning. Sitting in the ghetto, do you know what I mean? You need to fucking learn. So just busting my balls, work so hard. One day I was in the gym, and he was Cuban. I think he was something like a fucking lightweight or something. A few weights heavier than me. And someone said to me, I'll pay for you to fight these fellas for a few quid. I mean, I'm like a fucking peasant, you know what I mean? I'm proper like living rough. I don't normally talk about this, but a lot of people got an ego. I'm the end, don't want to talk about this and all that. But this is the student reality of how fighters try and survive for the families and all that shit. So if you can beat him up, I'll pay for you to fight in the Dominican Republic next week. As you pay for me to fight in Dominican next week, and he was joking, and I said. So flew over to the lad, do you want to spar? And we ended up having a proper fucking tear up, and I couldn't stop him because he was too big. But I was fighting like fuck. I was in the spar, I was taking shots off him, and he was heavy-handed. I was thinking, I was just fighting. I never got held my own. That was it. Yeah. I gave me all and held my own, and it was like I let my family down that day. But I was fighting in that spar for my family. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Thinking, he needs a fucking. I'm praying to God in the spar. God, just land a big shot, and I never. Do you know what I mean? I got out and said, "What do you think?" And he just laughed, and I thought, fair enough. I'll come again tomorrow, and tomorrow's a new day, and new opportunities will knock tomorrow. I didn't take my opportunity today. It didn't work out today, but that was where I was at. Do you know what I mean? So every day was like that. I sparred over 100 pounds in 8 weeks, but all along, Chiro looked after me. My outfit send me money out as well every now and again, so I like get a little break from the ghetto, go down the hostel on the weekends. But the hostel, even the hostel was mad, do you know what I mean? 12 people in the room, and it was just fucking mad situation. And
but didn't you end up fighting over there anyway?
Yeah. So at the end of the camp, thanks to Boris and to Chiro and Dino, we get to fight in Dominican Republic. And I speaking to people out there and who said they want to manage me, but out there, if they're going to manage you, what do you do? I was living in the ghetto with this Cuban in the house. No one spoke English. There was a Dominican, Bolero Mangu. He was ex-world champion. And there was lads who'd been in the Olympics from Dominico. And he was also this Cuban who was the most decorated amateur. And he was a Cuban who was looking after the house. So there was a living room. There was a bunk bed in the living room, bunk bed in the room, and he had his room, the man who was looking after the house, the old fella, and it was just like, there was cockroaches running around the place. It was a shock. It was a proper ghetto. It was like fucking really, it was just rough. Like, no, not that you think you want to tell you or a couch, but you see, I'm sleeping on a fucking bunk bed in a living room. There's just nothing else around, do you know what I mean? You make your mind fucking, you occupy your own mind because there's no devices. When I first went out there, I didn't have a penny, so I didn't have a phone to speak to my family. I had my phone, so I'm like walking, looking for Wi-Fi. Past like youth clubs and that, but who's that fucking moody white man? I mean, he's like moody paedophile white man stealing our Wi-Fi. So like every now and again, I have to start every 2 days. Every 2 days, I got a phone call. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I realised how lucky we are, because back in the past, people would have to wait for a letter. Do you know what I mean? You have to wait for your family to send a letter home. Imagine being in the war. Even alive, it's been for 4 weeks now, no letter, you know what I mean? And so I realised how lucky we were. So my father sent me money out, and I went and got a phone and a chip book could have Wi-Fi on it. I remember walking down fucking Miami Beach with this phone. It was like I had a suitcase full of money, but it weren't. It was my family's faces on the phone, do you know what I mean? It was just like I longed for them so much because it had been a while, and it was amazing. It was like just seeing my family. I'll never forget that day, how much it means to just to speak to your loved ones. You know what I mean? To FaceTime, and look at you out to FaceTime and all that. So I was just getting through, getting by every day, deep in my prayers. And they said that, well, how they work out there is that we have a boxing show, don't we? We have posters, we have social media. They don't have it. They have money in Dominican. They go there and they pay for what they want. So it's a building with a ring in. It's not a boxing venue. They go there, they knock these people out, as I was telling you before. They're not journeymen, they're just shit fighters. Do you know what I mean? So they have these venues. So we arrived in Dominican Republic. they'd set this show up to all get themselves a win. And some of the records that you read, not even true, because I don't want to go too much into it, but some of the records people can pay for the win.
Right.
Don't even have to fight some of these people. So it's fucking proper corrupt boxing, and over there it's even more corrupt. So get to the Domenico, and that was sad. That was like fucking third world poverty, do you know what I mean? And I'm getting more gratitude, but it was only easy. I was only eased there. It was only eased there when I got there. Someone has to stay with the bags at all times because they would get robbed, do you know what I mean? One of our team has to stay with the bags while the other two went down and fought and stuff like that. It was just like rough. So I went down, the shoot club fought, and on the way to the ring, I was in the ring, and there was no one in the arena. There's this youth club, no one in there, about fucking 15 people in there, they're not paying attention to me, but I could tell, people looking at me like I was the only white man these people have ever seen. I could tell that, do you know what I mean? The kids are looking at me like I'm the scary white man and stuff like that, and I feel hatred towards me for whatever reason, whatever how their minds was programmed, what they seen a white man as, I felt hatred from them, do you know what I mean? And the fellow who was fighting on the way to the ring, and the coach said, "Oh, this is not the fellow we're supposed to fight." So I'm thinking at the time, fucking, he's a lot bigger than me. If he's good, it's gonna be a tough fight. This, and me mind just changed from boxing to back in the living room with my dad. You know what I mean? That was it. Let's fight. It's a straightener. And I realised that. I went out and took him out in the first round. And the power I had in me, thinking about this fucking mentality that I grew up with. My first fight, just a straightener. It was amazing. I realised why I'd done it. And now, at this point, I've been in all these bills and with all these fucking crowds, thousands of people. And now, I'm enjoying more than any fight I've had being in the straightener in Dominican with this insecurity, this fear. Do you know what I mean?
Going back with you.
Yeah, it was just, I realised why I do it and why it all started. It was great. It was good for me. And I'm just there in the back of my mind with my alpha that supported me to conquer the world. This place I was at as a little child, didn't want to feel how I felt, and the only thing, the way I thought I could get out of it was through that work hard and get me the rewards. You know what I mean? Like being a naughty Max Frost at the age of 5 during the press. So I'm back in this position.
Put you right back to your childhood.
Yeah, and knocked them out, and then went back up to the dressing room, and so it's not over, I need to fucking do more. So we ended up doing a training session in the changing room after it, and they're all looking at me, this fucking cuckoo white man, local blanquito. And then went back to Miami then, and came home for Christmas. When I came home for Kimbo, on the last day I was in Miami, I can talk about it now because the contracts ran out.
Yeah.
But I'd signed a 2-year deal with a promoter in LA, and obviously the fights never happened. But I couldn't fight on these other bills because I'm in contact with a man in LA. Do you know what I mean? So I was supposed to go and fight out there. I think it was a 4-fight deal. I nearly got on a show, on PB show, a Hal show, and I nearly got. I got an opportunity in I think it was the Philippines for like a WBO Intercontinental. Yeah, I had loads of weight to lose at the time. I thought, no, I'm not going over there to do that. I believe in myself. Do you know what I mean? I don't need to go and fucking sell myself out like that, because these people who I'm living with, these don't know what opportunities are, and I'll go before in England. They're saying, well, just take the opportunity. The good opportunity is fuck. I know what opportunity is. Yeah, I'm not getting paid, and I'm up against it. Do you know what I mean? So, I turned that fight down, not because I thought I didn't know we'd be fighting, but I thought I'm not going to sell myself out like that. Out, yeah. It's not that bad. I mean, it's not that bad just yet. So, I came home for the Crimbo with my kids. It had been 2 months in Miami. The longest I've ever been away from my family, by a fucking long stretch. So I came home for the Christmas, and I had plans to go back there, and John O'Carroll was fighting for Tevin Farmer for the world title. John O said, was it? No, Lee Selby was. Lee Selby was fighting for the Defenders world title, his IBF world title, and I went out to Fortaventura and sparred with him. So to keep myself busy, and then I went to spar with John O, who was fighting Tevin Farmer for the world title. So in my head, I'm getting a lot of value from, like, people in the boxing business know I'm good because they're using me for world title fights.
Yeah.
Preparation, that was one thing that helped me massively through that whole time, because my career was on its ass, but these fighters still value my sparring, so that gave me a lot of hope at the time, to know I still got it. Don't you can get disheartened with yourself, it's just that your opportunity hasn't come to. So after the Kinnebro went, I was supposed to go back out and fight in LA, and as I was with Tom Stoker in Marbella, sparring with Jono, and he said, "There's a bill in Liverpool in 8 weeks, Jazz. 8 weeks, do you want to top the bill? It's for the Commonwealth title eliminator, Lee Woods, the Commonwealth champion. Do you want it?" And I said, "Fucking too right. That means I get to be home with my family, staying here with my family. I didn't want to go away from my family for another 2 months. Imagine you saying before about our Betty and me or the kids, and how they feel when I go out the house now. I go out the house to do a podcast, never mind being away for another 2 months. So I mean, my kids are developing issues because of boxing, because I'm giving so much to it. I hope I can fix it. But I said, too right, I get to go back to the gym with George and Derry. I get to be home with my family, and we'll just see where we go from there. But I had a fucking shitload of weight to go, and I nearly killed myself to make the weight. I ended up doing the camp, getting the weight down, and my torso was on the arse attack, and I read up signs since fucking silent arse attack. I don't want to go and check it in case it did, because it was bad. It was like passing out and all that, and my ma was crying. My ma seen me making the weight. I said, "Mill in the house," and it was horrendous. It was fucking bad. And we made the weight, and you have a drink, and you think you're great. Do you know what I mean? I learned a lot. That was the only fight that in the last so many years I've been with Carl Evans, who helps me out massively. So, it was against the CB Ramadan. The knockout was a great knockout. No one in the Olympia land.
Yeah, I remember that one. Left hook, right arm, left hook. Yeah, so it was and I'm thinking, fucking hell, thank God I should have been out on my feet. By the way, I made the weight, but I had to take my opportunity for my family. It was my only opportunity, and I had too much weight to go. It was an horrendous weight cut. And do you think that knockout changed everything in a way? Yeah,
but also the weight cut, making a weight like that changed everything, because I knew you have to change your life now. You're lucky that you got through that, because by God's grace you got through that, because if you shouldn't have had that power, you shouldn't have been able to box the way you did.
So the sacrifices you made, not just for yourself but for your family, for everybody involved, going to Miami, then coming back, then getting the chance, then knocking them out, it set you up for everything that's just happened, doesn't it?
So what has happened is, it was CB Ramazan, but we were supposed to fight a fella called Nathaniel May for this, and he pulled out before it, and he stepped in late notice, Ramazan. So what has happened is, so they said, alright, we'll put that fight back, because he was an MTK fighter too. We'll put this fight back, Jazz, but you can fight Ramazan. And I said, okay. So the day before the fight with Ramazan, I signed the contract to fight Nathaniel May. You know what I mean? And you shouldn't do that, but this was the situation I was in. Do you know what I mean? I'd already signed 2 fights, but I'm just thinking, at least I'm home with my family. I don't have to go to America. I've got everyone around here, and I'm active. And it's just a way back in. And also, what I said was, I'm not asked about the money, just make sure there's a title on the line.
Yeah.
Because if there's a title, if you get paid from a fight, you obviously you've got the money in your bank, but what you haven't got is the reassurance that you're going to fight again. So I said, make sure there's a title on the line, even if there's less money, because when I win it, that means I get another knock-on effect and I get another fight. So I beat Ramazan. 8 weeks later, it was the fight with Nathaniel May. Broke my hands in the fight. I beat Nathaniel May with one hand, a broken hand. But this position I'm in, there was no way I could pull out, because I have to provide my family. I have to get back to this position. You know what I mean? I've already fought for a world title. I've lost. I need to get back up there, and I've got no time to waste. So beats Ramazan, and then an amazing opportunity come from MCK to go into this Golden Contract tournament. This tournament's come about. Do you want to go in it? Too right, I want to go in it.
Because it's everything you've been looking for then, isn't it?
Yeah.
MTK, Sky.
Yep.
Belts.
Reassurance of another fight.
Reassurance.
Yeah.
Being home.
Activity, money, family.
Money. Everything that you've been looking for so long. And I think maybe early on you were a victim of your own success, being a southpaw as well. No one really wanted to fight you.
Yeah. But in this tournament, people had to fight you, and that's why I went in, because no one can pull out because the rewards are too good.
Yeah.
I knew that,
So, it obviously sets you up now to what we've already spoke about, the world title next.
Yeah. It's mad how it all works, and I always said that the saying is you have to go away. I have to go away to come home. I found out what that meant, you know what I mean? Because I was long with my family, couldn't even speak to them on the phone, and now I'm home, just all I want to do is be home.
Yeah.
But then I had to up it again and leave my own home and go to my dad's to sacrifice even more for your camps, you know what I mean?
I think, obviously speaking now, I think your family are obviously going to be proud of you. When your kids grow up, they'll understand what you've done. It was all for them, basically.
I hope so.
You will. They remember the memories, the belt, you waking them up when you come home late night with your belt. They'll remember stuff like that.
Yeah.
Going to school, showing your belts off.
Yeah. During night times I came back from the fight. In the ring, I said, went over to Walsh after the fight and said, we'll have a little bite to eat later.
Yeah.
Because I don't bevy and he doesn't bevy. And that's the thing. We'll go for the drink later, we'll have a bevy. And so we'll have something to eat later together. And we see you back in the hotel. We got back to the hotel. Me and Katie, she said, come on, let's just get our shit and go home to the kids, you know what I mean? So when we went home to the kids, the boys were awake, Betty was asleep, so I woke the kids up anyway, you know what I mean, because I haven't seen them so long, I want to wake them up. So I wakes our Betty up, the boys had seen the fight, they stayed awake, but our Betty fell asleep mid-fight, and I woke our Betty up, and she woke her eyes up, and Daddy, did you win your fight? You know what I mean? And I'd gone home with this contact, our future, like a lot of security in many ways.
Of course.
I could just say, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she didn't know what it meant when I said to her. It meant a lot more than just yet. Of
course it did, yeah.
About a fight, but yeah, we did. We won it. It's all paid off. Do you know what I mean?
It's sort of that knowing what you've got to come now is all that insurance for all them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And we live for that, don't we? We want that financial security. We want security of emotional security. But there's a lot of security that we need, isn't it? Especially as children.
So earlier on then you briefly mentioned Muhammad Ali, and he does a lot about visualisation and positive thinking before fights. Is this something you do yourself?
Yeah, well I've done it for many years. The visualisation is big on the law of attraction, and one thing I didn't realise, what they don't tell you in the law of attraction, the secret of the film, is that you can't just say I want this and write it down, because your true feelings of what you feel inside. Am I worthy of that? There comes a lot of things. I was in a coffee shop today with my bird, and we're writing down what success means to me and what failure means to me. And oftentimes in life, failure comes with rewards. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, if I feel sick, I'm going to get a lot of sympathy. So it's better for me to just feel sick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And get a lot of love through being sick. Or if I feel success, I get a lot of love. So what success means to us, I always felt like I weren't worthy of this success because I was also scared. If I've got more success, I spend less time with my family. That's one of my biggest fears. The more successful I get now, the more I have to be away from my kids. So therefore, the law of attraction, that my deep feelings deep down, that could stop me from being successful, because I don't really want to go away from my kids. Do you know what I mean? And people don't think about it, do they? But it's like that's what's coming with it for me right now. The fears of success. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, mostly fears, but the fears of success right now, it's hit me hard, and I'm thinking, fucking hell, I've got to get used to this shit, because it's scary feeling this little bit of success. I can't imagine what like these world champions are feeling, on me, like Savannah Joshua and stuff like that. The fear of success, it doesn't get spoke about, but yeah, it's heavy, weighs heavy, do you know what I mean? But as you're saying about the law of attraction, that going into the fight the other night, I'd never been to the place I've been where we boxed, and I've been to that venue, but in my mind's eye, I already seen where my dad would be standing, and when I came in the venue, the area where my dad would be standing was exactly where it was going to be. Do you know what I mean? Where I put my arm raised and looked out to the crowd, to my dad, he was standing just there. I'd already seen these things, and so it's like, is it because it's already happened in my mind, and it happened played out just the way I seen it. People think you're mad, but then is it visualization? Can you bring this into existence, or is it coincidence? Do you know what I mean? Because there's many things that could not have been coincidence, what I visualised. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Did I tell you the Banoffee pie story?
I think I might have heard it, but go on, tell us again. Is it when you were in London?
Yeah, when I went to JBAs, I visualised. I've never ever had a banoffee pie once in my life.
Yeah.
I was a little kid, so I said, I'm going to win the ABAs, but because I'm going to win the ABAs, anyone can win the ABAs, but not anyone can win. I want to do something that's going to, it can't be fluke and it can't be coincidence, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so it has to be visualisation. So I said to myself that when the ABAs go through them, I'm not going to lose a round to anyone, because that could also be fluke, but it's rare that you don't ever lose a round going through the whole tournament, you know what I mean? So I won every round and said I'm going to have this, I'm going to win them, I'm going to have a banoffee pie. So we won the ABAs in London, York Hall. Me and my half gets on the same, we goes to my Auntie Anne's house, and when we get to my Auntie Anne's house, she went in, he said that to me, how do you feel, lads, on the way there? I said, I feel good, Dad, I feel great, but I haven't had me banoffee pie. And he looks at me like I'm mad, because he's not from the same generation, chatting law of attraction and positivity, he doesn't see how I see it, so he's just like dickhead, you know what I mean? So we get to the house, and she was out, she was still in work, so we went to bed anyway. Goes to bed, does me 50, we stayed in the spare room, me and my dad, does me 50 press-ups, just like all them years before, just me and him, and gets in the bed, and then the door goes, and she comes in, so go down and see her. She want a cup of tea, go on, we'll have another cup of tea. She went in the kitchen, she came back out with a banoffee pie. That's a lot of attraction, you know.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable, isn't it?
So, no one I've only ever had one in my life. It went a coincidence, you know.
It definitely wasn't a coincidence, was it?
No.
How was the banoffee pie?
It's fucking banoffee pie. It was this. I've only ever had two, but it was the nicest one I've ever had.
So, the hardest sparring you've ever had, who was it against?
Sparring? Bloody hell. Got me here and caught me out here. As I say, the sparring with Satchel and Farag used to be brutal. But hardest sparring? I sparred one fella, he was no what, I got it off on the fucking heavyweight, it's hard. I got it on Sheffield years ago. Yeah, I just sparring, but I got it one sparring at heavyweight, and I just went white, blacked out white, the heavy hands in this. How hard he gets, I was 51 kilogram, 8 stone at the time, and he must have been about, what's heavyweight, 13 stone or something like that? 15,
16, if you look at Anthony Joshua or Fury now, they're 18s.
He's bad their size, and he's fucking big fella. The pain of the, I don't even think it was pain, I think it went past pain, do you know what I mean? Like when you get burned, so it's just...
How did that spar come about then?
Who else was spar with a world champion, an African world champion, I don't know his name, but he had me off. Yeah, he's done me.
We all have good days and bad days, don't we?
He's done me. When a fucking grown man went and cried in the box.
Is the only one you've sparred who you were sort of thinking, he's good, I'm going to spar him, and then thought less of them? I don't want to put you on the spot with a name, but
after the sparring,
yeah,
but I can't say. But it does happen, yeah, when people get hyped up and they spar, and it's a lot of the time it's people who've never had a good amateur pedigree.
Yeah.
So it's like they sell tickets in Liverpool, they're everywhere, they normally stand at nightclub bars telling women that they're professional fighters. That's where they loiter. So they don't have a good amateur pedigree, but then they turn professional, they get a contract, because promoters know they can sell tickets. If you sell tickets, you generate revenue, you know what I mean? On the back of a fighter who can't really box well, you can sell a fighter who is good but doesn't sell tickets.
Yeah.
So if you get the kid who can sell tickets, the kid who can't sell tickets, put them both on the same show, you can work them together, and you can develop a champion through that. Do you know what I mean? On the back of these people who can't sell tickets, but they got loads of mates, but they're not that good. So these people never normally has a good amateur pedigree, and they turn professional to have a go and to tell their mates and blah blah blah. No, and to also be honest, pros, but you just haven't got it, but they got loads of mates. These are the promoters' dream, who can sell tickets and he can fight. But he's often got kids who can fight, who can't sell tickets, these struggle, and then there's kids who can't fight, but they can sell loads of tickets, and sometimes their mans, they have this big reputation, they sell loads of tickets, they get on all these big bills, and you think, fucking hell, he must be good, because he's on these bills, but the truth is, you spar them and you realise they got no fundamentals, but they're just good at selling tickets.
Yeah.
Okay, Jazz, so something I've been wanting to ask you. I heard a little story from when you were younger, a lot younger, and you built your own ring in your house. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, we had, my mum moved into a flat on Park Road, the south end of Liverpool. I went to live up there with her because it was closer to the gym, and upstairs it was a house on top of shops, so it was 2 floors of a house. It was like a house of flat house. You know what I mean? So she only used it downstairs, and upstairs was just mashed. It was just like a shithole upstairs, and she didn't have the money to do it, so that door just stayed shut, and no one went upstairs. But I thought I could make a gym up there, do you know what I mean? So everywhere I've ever been, I've always like everywhere I go, I try to make a gym, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the lockdown, I had the mattress used my mattress on the wall for a bag, do you know what I mean? When lockdown started, so I've always had a gym. Just put 4 stanchions. Don't know where I got the stanchions from. Don't even know how I got. Maybe they were already in there. I don't know. And nailed them to the roof, because the roof was they weren't no roof. It was just like wood and then a mesh, so the pigeons couldn't shit. And so I just nailed them to the roof. Got myself a bag in there and a weights bench. So the neighbour used to go, man, no one would be on the weight because the walls dead thin. You're saying there's no fucking roof in it, and it was just like the walls are just dead thin. And he used to shout. No, he was up for work next day, and I'd be on the weight, so I'd be in the bag, and he used to go mad. He used to nearly fight with him, and he used to shout at his wife. His wife used to say, "I'll leave him alone." She used to speak Scouse. They were Asian, and she used to speak Scouse. "I'll leave him alone." And he used to say to me, "Hey, you bastard bitch!" I always used to call him bastard bitch. And I used to shout at her for sticking up for me, but the words that did, you could hear it. Yeah, bastard bitch.
Brilliant.
Still say it now.
So did you used to make stuff out of matchsticks as well?
We've done our research,
when I was a kid, I used to like doing art and that. Like I used to make myself creative. I had like remember Michael, Mookie, we were like brothers, but they went to live down south at a young age, so I was like, I'd use my own mind to like be creative in the house and stuff like that, to like art and stuff like that, and painting and stuff like that. So I'd try and make anything with what I could.
What was the best thing you made?
Not as good, probably not good, but I used to fill my time, do you know what I mean? But you have the PlayStation now as well, don't you?
Yeah.
So spend my time on that and making stuff art. There's only so many hours you can spend on one of it, anything before you go to the next one. Then I go round to our lenses with my cousins. We had cousins in the same street, so we spend time with them as well. Lucky, really, it was really lucky, and listening to the community as well. We're living, there was loads of lads my age, so I was lucky. It was good upbringing, or where I was from.
So, if there was anyone out there who was your sporting idol, who would it be?
Sporting idol? Someone who's personal to me, his name's Francis Hand. When I was around 15, I went to the Golden Gloves. When I said I first joined the Golden Gloves from the Solly, the gym was getting done up. They just had a few schoolboy champions, Anthony Fowler, like Ryan Brody, Peter Fowler, and Fowler's a brother who won a schoolboys too, Peter, and Anthony Jevons. They all won the schoolboy title, so the club got a grant. So they done the club up, and in the meantime, we went to train in the 051. Was it the Sunrise, is it?
Yeah.
On top of the Sunrise, there's a gym in there. Used to be a boxing gym. We used to do 3 days a week in there, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and 2 weeks in the gym called Franny Ann's Gym by London Road. And went in Franny Ann's Gym, and we trained there that season. That was the first season I won a national title. And when we went back to the gym after I got done up, I kept going to Franny's on the Tuesdays and Thursdays, because Franny, like, he helped me out a lot. And he was a professional boxer, he was a southpaw. And he was the only person I knew who had personal experience, a person I knew personally who had experience as a professional boxer. No one else ever turned pro. He was either amateur boxing or nothing. No one in the family box. Did anyone in our family box?
Not that I know of, no.
I don't think so. No. So yeah, they didn't know anyone. And he was the first person, and he used to give me advice on boxing. He used to tell me stories about professional boxing, which I always wanted to do. And he looked after me, and then got a little bit older, got to the age of 15. He gave me a job on, he had the security down by the Albatross, so he used to just open the barriers, open the cars coming in and out to give me a job. And he was really good to me. He'd give me money every now and again. He knew I'd be struggling and stuff like that, and he used to always like give me a lift from the gym. And he'd throw money out on me. I said, I don't want it from him, but he'd throw it out and drive away. So I'd have to, you know what I mean? And he was just like so kind. Like, I never met no one like him, to be honest, because he had no agenda. He was nothing in it for him. He just wanted to help me, do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I remember one day I was fighting for England. I was captain for England, fighting against Ireland, at the age of 17. And I had to get to Liverpool Airport, and I think I left me passport, or didn't have a way to get there, or something like that. And he left his site from work. He could have lost the old job he had. He had this old job, and he took me to the airport. You know what I mean? He risked his own job and like little things like that. I think, fucking hell, what did I do for somebody like him to help me the way he has? You know what I mean? He's a really, really kind man. So for any hand, for any hand, it helped me a lot. He showed me. When you come across good people at a point in your life and need them, he was that person. He's like an angel.
It's brilliant because there always seems to be someone, doesn't he?
At every point, every turn, yeah.
Every turn, yeah. It's also like it's meant to be.
Yeah, it's definitely.
Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Take you back to the law of attraction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Right, okay. We've got a couple of quick fire questions for you now. You might like these. In fact, you will like these. So what is your guilty pleasure musically? What do you listen to in the shower when no one's around?
Oh, and you wouldn't want the lads to know about. And be honest.
I thought he said about Shaka Khan, so it's obviously going to get well. Where is it? I love UB40. Proud of that though. Tracy Chapman. Who do you listen to? Stevie Nicks.
Stevie Nicks. Classic rock.
Who else? Do you song on there before? You had Peter Gabriel with, who's the other one? Don't Give Up. Who else is it? We all have a little bit of a Vengaboys, don't we? Here we go. Vengaboys, yeah.
The Vengaboys, it's alright, I've noted that, yeah, I've got that one.
Escom 7, every now and again.
It's all coming out now, isn't it? Okay. Best trainer in the gym?
Who I've seen with...
Just best all-round trainer in the gym.
You can't see yourself.
Who I train with?
No, just anyone who might be in your gym. Just best trainer.
The most dedicated I've seen. Fowler doesn't get the credit he deserves when it comes to dedication. But that was the last time I knew. We stopped training together. We must have been about 17. But he is proper moral pro. If you look at the way he trains, he just fucking lives the life. The last time I knew of, do you know what I mean? Things can change. I don't know if I'm not saying he has, but what I'm saying is the last time I knew, he was competition. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He used to diet better than me. He was more disciplined with his diet than I was.
Yeah.
I felt like I had the edge when it comes to like sacrificing things. Like I get up at mad hours to run, but when it comes to diet and stuff like that, which was hard for me, he had it nailed. Every area he's a model pro. Where I train now, I train with a good gang of lads who train hard, really. He pushed this lad called Josh Wright, who's just turned professional. And he's just fucking smashing. He trains with me in my camps, but he hasn't had a pro fight. He's only had amateur fights on me, so he's like training as a 10-round fighter, which he shouldn't be. And he's coming on the heels with me and all that, so yeah, he's doing well. He's a good trainer. It's nice to be around people like that though, because they push you, do you know what I mean?
Absolutely done as well.
Which brings me on to the next one. Who's the worst trainer in the gym?
It's got to be that lad who was seen years ago. Fucking hell. Don't know if I should say him. He's still boxing now. Fred Evans. He's fucking brilliant. He was brilliant fighter. He won the World Championships. I think he went to the Olympics for Wales, but didn't like boxing.
Didn't he?
No, didn't. Well, didn't like training.
Didn't like training side of it.
When you say he ended up in the squads, I always wonder, fucking hell, how's he here if he doesn't train hard? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He said one time he went to we were going to a tournament, and I was in the gym the other day and I thought, I'm going to fucking smash it today. I want to get fit, but it was like 3 days till till we went to fight, do you know what I mean? And he said his dad called him a daft cunt because he said you can't get fit in a day,
Favourite film?
The Warriors.
The Warriors?
Yeah.
I knew that was coming. Sport and Idol, we've already gone over that, haven't we?
Sport and Idol, Franny.
You want to say somebody who everybody knows?
No, Franny. He's my child, yeah.
If you wouldn't be a boxer, if you wasn't a boxer, sorry, what would you be?
I liked football, lads. I love football.
Yeah.
I played for the Byrom. I had a game last week.
I've
First time in 14 years.
I've actually heard of this game for the Byrom. I've actually heard a few of the lads say that you missed a few sitters.
Oh yeah, I shit myself. I can't even tell you what happened because I shit myself that much. I just went blank. But I was in on goal with two people on the 6-yard box, and the next minute everyone was laughing at me. I just went blank.
Yeah, that's what we got told. A really good player, made up to have him there for the day, but why did he miss a few sitters?
I got told you were singing top of the league after playing one game.
Yeah, Alex is top of the league, are we? The Byron back on top, yeah.
Fury or Joshua?
Fury.
Everton or Liverpool?
Everton.
Disappointed there, Josh. We're going so well as well.
Fucked it up.
We let it tap it out, don't worry, mate.
Now listen, Jazz, it was absolutely amazing having you on the podcast. We'd loved it. We'd love you to come back again next time at your world title.
Yep.
But absolutely amazing.
Yeah, been a pleasure to have you on. Chris on the show for us, Jazz. Nice one.
Yeah, thank you, lads, as well for your time as well. It's probably been one of the best podcasts out there. I enjoyed it, but maybe because feel confident because you know it personally, but it's been one of the best I've been on, so thank you, lads.
Oh, no.
Cheers, Jazz. Thanks very much.
Nice one.